What's going on, y'all? So I just realized I never made a video on what components make up the Isochain, right? So what are all the tech gadgetry and all the stuff that make up the Isochain and why the price is what it is. And this is also for those that made an OG Isochain thinking that you can get the same gains off of OG that you can on here, which, sorry guys, you can't. You can get gains, but it's just not gonna be on the level of the Dragon Door Isochain. Just facts, man, sorry. You know, Toyota Corolla, Ferrari FXX is what it is, all right? But let's go into why. Let's go into the components and everything. Ready? Here we go. We have a nice heavy duty steel core handle, right? This is non-slip military grade rubber coating. When you get close up and you really see it, you see the rubber right there? That's there so that it has a high tensile strength and a long life. So these are just really high grade materials for the Isochain. Definitely worth it. You got the digital console here. This tech alone just makes it worth the money, in my opinion. Okay, it's just my opinion. You turn on the unit, 0.00. There are 4 modes to the Isochain. If you haven't seen that video, here's a link right here. Very important to check that out. I mean, it's not just a bar you rip into and it just tells you your force. It's so much more than that. No matter what mode you use, the digital display here shows everything. It has a backlight for the LCD, so you can see it even if you're working out at night, which I've already used. I'm sure some of us on the squad have done that as well. Controls are really simple. You already see me use the power one, so the power on, power off. You can toggle the weight, so you can go from, if you press this button here, the little kettlebell thing, it goes from kg to pounds. So that's a nice feature. So some of us that are overseas, and you know, us Americans are hard-headed, so we gotta keep everything old school and use the LB. The up and down buttons here. Let's say we're adjusting the amount of weight we want to either exceed or match. We use the up and down feature, just like you would with any other feature. Up and down buttons are up and down buttons. The time mode is here. So you see the little T that shows up. Hit max, it just goes blank. Hit L, the L shows up for load mode. The average mode and the max mode don't show up because those are functions that you just use at the end of a lift. The time mode and load mode functions, those show up as T and L because those are targets you're trying to hit. When you just pull, like, let me do a demo real quick. If you just pull real quick, the average force of that little pull right there was 15.6. So that was my average pull for that, like 2 seconds. Like I said, I go into detail on the 4 modes of the Isochain in a video I've made in the past. So that link earlier, go ahead and check that out. It's literally called the 4 modes of the Isochain. Highly recommend watching that so you know what the Isochain does. Like I said, it's not, you don't just pull on this and just try and get, but it's so much more than this, so much more. Okay, the speaker, there is a speaker built in. So there's gonna be some times where we're performing a contraction on the Isochain and we want to look at the numbers, but we just can't. We're focused so much on ripping that we need something auditory to let us know that we're performing to our maximum effort. For example, let me set this up real quick. The speaker's right here, so I'm gonna pull, and each time I pull, you're gonna hear a beeping sound. For every second I go over 10 pounds of force. You see, and that's coming from here. This, again, so much tech involved. I mean, yes, it's a simple speaker, but you know what I mean? It's still important. The battery compartment is right here, so you can take this out. That's where the batteries go. Where it belongs. I never take the battery out, that's why. You got the loading ring. For us No Limit Squad members that have been with me since the start, y'all know how I feel about the loading ring, all right? Not bad, just cautious, I guess. So it's right here. Essentially what the loading ring, because I've taken this apart, this loading ring connects through the machine all the way up to this really, it's like a dense steel bar. And it says 999 on it. Remember, this thing only goes up to 999 pounds of force. It said 99, I was like, oh, this is what's really able to hold all that power. Otherwise, it would just keep on snapping whenever somebody reasonably strong used the Isochain. So that's where the loading ring hooks up to. It's this ring right here. Boom, and it goes all the way in to the machine. Let me turn this off. into the machine, and it's hooked up to that little really dense steel bar. I have no idea what that thing's made of. And that's the bar that says 999. So that's really what holds it. And then that bar is connected through the handle. Remember I said it's heavy duty steel core handle for here underneath the rubber. So that's what it's all connected to. So you got the carabiners that come with it. I like these because it has the spinny thing on it to really lock it in place. But you can always just buy carabiners from Home Depot for like $2. I have gone through some of these by not paying attention. I've messed them up. So luckily they're inexpensive, so we can always do that. The heavy duty chain. So this chain, it's a black steel chain, it's 8 millimeters, and it's strengthened, according to Dragon Door, to resist superhuman levels of force. It's 85 inches long, and it reaches over 7.5 feet. So we can even our tall athletes, which I have a client who's almost 7 foot tall, and I've had him use it and he had no problem using it. It's really good. Like the height of the chain is excellent. We have a tension spring. So the spring provides 85 millimeters of elongation against over a lot of forces. Again, is over 900 pounds of force here. Even the world's strongest athletes can use the Isochain. Doesn't matter how strong you are. You need the spring tensioner though. I mean, this relieves a lot of the pressure, and it also factors in the tare, which I'm about to explain in a minute. If that wasn't here and you just attached the snap hook directly into the base plate, you'd have problems. Either that would just continue to snap off, or just cause too much stress to the base plate, resulting in a lot of warpings. The tension spring is really important. Speaking of the base plate is about 35 centimeters by 60 centimeters. If you look at how thick it is, it's not thick, but it's not like paper thin. It had to be designed to be strong, you know, to hold all these amounts of forces. As a result, there's a tiny bit of base plate warping, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, but this thing is pretty strong. Checker plate texture for added grip, coated and plated for durability. It's definitely safe. It's definitely safe. It is not a flimsy base plate whatsoever. The last two things are kind of hidden. The digital memory on the Isochain itself, it remembers your last load. So if I hit load real quick, 10 was the last load that I used earlier in the video, and I just said it reset to 0, so it can get ready for me to do a lift. That's really cool, the digital memory in there, because it automatically turns off by itself if you don't use the Isochain for a little bit. What you would normally think is, okay, well, it'll just turn off, and then everything internal, like the memory, will just reset, so it'll be back to whatever it was 0. If I leave today, is Sunday, and I start Monday, it's still at 10, which is cool. It has its nice moments, you know, if you want to start with the same exercise the next day, it's already set, so you don't even have to. It does help. It's really nice. It's a nice feature to have. The last thing is the automatic tare. So the CPU inside of the Isochain is already calibrated to recognize the weight of the chain and ignore it during the readout. This is why the OG Isochain, even if you decided to be IQ level 2000 and add your own dynamometer for exorbitant amounts of money, is it gonna pick up the chain? Because obviously this weighs something. The Isochain is designed to catch the weight of the chain in addition. So when I pull this up, it still says 0. This is the weight of the chain right now. The Isochain is not picking up the weight of the chain. But let me step on it real quick. Right? See that? So that, I'm telling you, like, the tech on this is really good. Totally worth it. All right, guys, that's it. I just wanted to walk us through, for those that don't really know about the Isochain, thinking, is it worth all the money? Yes, it's worth the money, guys. We've spent more money on dumber things in life. I know I have, and I am almost positive most of us watching this right now have. Probably involves alcohol. Hope you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. Go ahead and comment if there's something that you want me to cover as far as the basics of the Isochain. Go ahead and comment down below. And if you're not yet part of the Unlimited Squad, hit that subscribe button. Come join the squad with us. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.